Okay, I want to talk about things that you can do in a stressful situation when your go-to has always been to go move. When you have a movement compulsion that you're trying to unwire and you're in recovery and something stressful comes up, or even just like a really strong negative emotion, and it's almost just like a knee-jerk reaction to go on that walk. It's just a knee-jerk reaction to get your shoes on and go for a run. It's a knee-jerk reaction to go head to the gym. Start moving around your house. It's just like an almost feels like an autopilot thing that you don't even think through. It's just like, I'm just going to do that because you feel anxious or stressed out about something. For me, one of the times when I felt the most tempted to do that in recovery would be after I maybe disappointed someone, or I had a hard conversation with someone, or I came across as like selfish or rude. I just hated that. Just like to the core, it made me feel like a horrible person. And so to fix that or to remedy that, I had to be like, I'm just going to go. I know I'll feel better if I just go for a run. Even though I just treated that person like crap, a run's going to fix it. How does that make sense though, right? Like that's the compulsion. Because I felt like if I did that, somehow it's gonna make me, at least I'm good at that. Maybe I'm not a nice person, but at least I'm good at that. Instead of what a normal person would do, I shouldn't say normal, but a person without an eating disorder with healthy communication skills would have been like, yeah, I probably could have been nicer about that conversation. I probably shouldn't have said that. I'm feeling pretty bad about that. I should probably call that person back and apologize and talk to them about kind of why I said what I said and how I shouldn't have said it, and I feel really bad, and hopefully make amends. That would be like a normal reaction to a person who, had treated someone rude. So the problem with always falling back on movement, right? Always falling back on, oh, that's going to make me feel better. Like one, you numb out of life, but that's how you start separating yourself and disconnecting from relationships. Because instead of actually having to resolve the problem, instead of actually having to go and address the situation, you run away from it, quite literally, right? By moving. So not everyone can relate to this. If you don't have a movement compulsion, you may not relate to this. And maybe instead of the movement thing, it's that you restrict, and that's often the case too. And I would kind of do both, but more so the movement was more effective for me. So sometimes I would be, again, having some kind of stressful situation, and if the movement thing wasn't a possibility at the time, then it would be, I'm just not going to eat that thing. I'm just going to skip that meal. I'm just going to deprive myself of what it is that I actually want, because somehow it's going to make me feel better about myself as a person. So I think oftentimes, and this is a blanket statement, but oftentimes people with eating disorders have low self-esteem. They didn't start out that way, but over time, practicing their eating disorder, the self-esteem starts to go down and their confidence declines quickly. And so the only thing that we feel like we're good at is our eating disorder. So we just perfect that and keep, finding new ways to appease the eating disorder. So if you're a person listening to this and you're like, gosh, yes, I do under stressful situations do that kind of thing. Okay, well, now it's time to replace that reaction to go and move or exercise or restrict with something else. What could you do? First, obviously, go and address the stressful situation best you can. If it's conversation, go and talk to that person. If it's maybe you're stressed out with school and finals or something. Okay, so what's something I can do instead of feeling stressed out, going for a run before I study? That's not something I can do in recovery. What can I do instead? So for me, I started to take baths. I was never a person that ever took baths. Like I probably before recovery hadn't taken a bath since I was like a 1 or 2 year old. And I just thought, there's got to be something that I can do that's going to keep me from moving that might seem kind of cool. And I would see in the movies, people would get in bubble baths and, they'd go and like light candles and play music and just kind of like relax. And I was just thought, like, who does that? Is that even real life? And then when I got desperate enough in recovery and was like, I got to figure out something, maybe I should just try bath. Like maybe there's something to this. Maybe I could just try it and see. So I did. And the first time I did it, yes, of course, it didn't like completely take away my stress, but it did make me feel proud of myself for actually doing something nice for myself. And I started to do it more often. And I started to feel like, wow, is this like what people do that like themselves? Like, is this people slow down enough to actually like fill up a bathtub of water and put a bath bomb in and just relax? And I loved that I was letting myself do that. And so then I started actually craving that and looking forward to that. And that eventually started to feel more easy to replace doing that with that, quick fix I'd get from movement. So If that's something that you think, oh, no, I'm not doing that. No. You need to do that. You need to go and challenge yourself to do that. So, and if it's not a bath, maybe it's, listening to some meditation on YouTube or something, or maybe it's lying down with like a cooling mask on your eyes, or maybe it's taking a nap. I don't know. You think, you be creative, but come up with something that you're going to have. So when those moments come, you're not just running straight to your natural, normal autopilot response. You've got something else in line, like, oh, here's what I'm doing instead. Okay. So stressful situations, we've got to rewire what we do with that. Oh, and in addition to that, anything that you do come up with, whether it's the bathtub or it's the lying down with meditation, all that, still make sure that food's available, right? Because we have to teach our brains that food's abundant under these stressful situations. No longer is a stressful situation equate to restriction. Okay? All right. Have a great day.